How's it going, folks? Welcome to the video. Today's background noise is brought to you by this fan to my right, a dog behind me at some place, somewhere, I don't know, and my girlfriend in front of me, possibly making computer-related noises. Yeah, I can see you, I know what you're doing. Anyway, yes, the apologies as usual for background noise and stuff like that. I can't really do anything about it at this point. Oh, today I am starting a new series on this channel that is answering Yahoo Answers questions. I started this channel with a view to answering your kinds of questions, like stuff about life, about relationships, college, and other stuff with, my experiences, my, thoughts as a frame of reference, as some kind of guidance for you, if you will, in a way. As of yet, obviously, I have no subscribers that aren't myself, my girlfriend, and some dude I know from college, so I have to find questions from somewhere else. Yahoo Answers seemed like a decent place to do that, despite the fact that it's mostly trolls and people, trolling, so it took a little sifting, but I found a question that I want to start with today, and in the future I will continue to go there, should I need to find, some content to talk about. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into today's question. I want a boyfriend so badly. It's more of a statement than a question, but that's the format of Yahoo Answers, so it's not really your fault. Anyway, I'm 15, that's grade 10, and I've never even kissed a guy before. I've come close to dating other guys before, but never actually have. I know I don't need a boyfriend, and not having a boyfriend wouldn't bother most people, but it bothers me. Everyone has dated people before and kissed boys, but I've done nothing. What should I do? Well, let's talk about that. First thing I want to do is commend this person for recognizing the fact that they don't need to be in a relationship. You definitely do not need to be in a relationship, okay? That's really good that this person's aware of that. You are, in and of yourself, a complete person, okay? You do not need another person to validate you, to, supply your happiness, or to, be your other half, okay? You are all of that yourself, and you don't need another person. There's the relationship cliche of being two halves of a whole. You have to recognize that you, by yourself, are whole. You are complete, all by yourself, and you don't need to seek out something to patch or to fill a supposed blank in yourself. You are already complete and perfect just the way you are. I also want to point out that when you enter into a relationship, you don't cease to be that person either. A relationship should not be something that you lose your identity to. It's something that should rather support your identity and complement it, okay? If you find that you're losing parts of yourself to a relationship, then it's not a healthy relationship, and it's certainly not good for you. Therefore, to you, I want to say no. No, you don't need to be in a relationship. Rather, you shouldn't be in a relationship. I think what you need to do is to learn to become cool with being single. Being single is the most normal thing that a person can be at certain points in their life, or indeed just generally in points in their life. There is no shame to not being in a relationship, and you should stop thinking that way. There's the phrase, what I want to say as well, another reason I'm saying no is because you never mentioned a person that you're particularly interested in, which seems to indicate that you're almost interested in anybody for a relationship. There's the phrase, any port in a storm, and this is not something that should be applied to relationships. If you don't have an idea of who to date, then you shouldn't just date anybody or put yourself out there for just anybody. You should wait and become comfortable with waiting. It's okay to have to do that. It's okay to even need to do that. You'll get there. It'll happen for you, don't worry. Essentially what I'm saying is this. Do not enter into a relationship just because it's better than being single. That's not the right thought process to have at all. The next thing that you talk about is kissing, okay? So let's talk about that. First time I kissed somebody, I was 21 years old. That's pretty old. But I wasn't really ashamed about it, because a lot of the decisions that I made at that point in my life led to me not getting kissed until I was that age. I was never very outgoing. I was really only determined to kiss somebody that I wanted to be with for a very, very long time, and I didn't run into somebody like that for a very long time, so there's that. There were no moral or religious reasons behind it. It was just what I wanted, and I got what I wanted, and I think I was happier for it. I didn't pursue something else just because I felt like it was what other people were doing. Certainly I did feel like maybe my peers were judging me in some way for my choices, but at the same time, I just thought, it's what I want, and I should just hold on for what I want, and I think you should too. Because we talked about kissing and stuff like that, and in the interest of being inclusive and also thorough, I'm gonna take the topic a little bit further, because let's face it, if you're curious about kissing, you may well be curious about other things too. So let's talk about kissing, sex, and the various other, the smorgasbord of things that are, a factor in a consensual adult relationship, which you may feel like pursuing at this point. I'm not going to BS you, I'm not going to pull the wool over your eyes or treat you like a child. I'm going to be honest. Those things are nice in the context of a, loving, caring, legitimate, consensual adult relationship. I would not pretend for 1 second that those things weren't enjoyable. There's a reason we talk about them a lot, there's a reason we are curious about them. They are nice, again, in the context of a consensual adult relationship. So, I just want to be clear about that. However, those things are not so nice and so amazing, or the be-all and end-all, the pinnacle of life lived, a good life lived, that you should be pursuing them to the cost of things such as your integrity, your dignity, and your sense of self, Now there's peer pressure, obviously, and the pressure to appear to be doing what everybody else is doing and stuff like that. Let's just say this, you're not going to acquiesce to that. I didn't. You don't have to do that either, okay? So let's just remember that we don't just have to surrender to the flow. We don't have to do what everybody else is doing just to feel like we're fitting in. What I want you to do is precisely what you feel is right to do and nothing more, because I feel like you will anyway, and I don't want you to wind up regretting doing something that you wish you hadn't done, or you wish you'd thought about more, or you simply wish that, you had a different outlook on at the time because you were in probably in a headspace that you were kind of like forced into by circumstances, by age, by inexperience, and things like that. So do what you feel is right to do, but be aware that you may come to regret things in the future. So think it through clearly, and think about the future. Think about the long-term, consequences of what you could be getting into. Here the golden rule is, if you don't feel like you're ready, if you don't think that you're ready, then it means that you're not ready, and you need to take time to figure things out. It's like I said at the start of the video, if you aren't ready to be in a relationship, you don't feel like you're ready to be in a relationship, then you're just not. And it's okay, it's cool, be single, be cool with being single, and move on with your life. Grow as a person, figure yourself out, figure out what you want, okay? There is one more aspect to this question that I really want to address. I think it's very important, and it's got to do with anxiety and time. There is an undertone in the question where the asker is saying, am I missing out on precious time to have these experiences? And it's very important to address this, because if you too feel the same, then you may wind up rushing into something that you're not quite ready for. I breezed through pretty much all of secondary school and high school without a hint of romance. And I wondered at some points if that meant that it was ever going to happen for me, if I was ever going to meet somebody who would care about me and want to be in a relationship with me. Now, it's pretty obvious coming from me, with a bit more experience and stuff like that, that yes, it will eventually happen, but that's the simple truth. It will happen. You just have to give it time. Well, like I said, I never thought I would meet somebody until I did. We had a relationship that ended, we broke up, but then I found somebody else, and that was kind of stunning to me, because here I was, only a few years beforehand thinking, well, I'm never going to be in a relationship. But then, at this point, I've now had 2 good relationships, First one didn't end very well, obviously, that happens, that's life. But still, I've had those experiences because I was patient, because I held on, and because I knew that they would come in time. And again, it's easy to see this when you've lived a little more, but you will see that, eventually these things will come to you. They will happen, because life is long, it is full of possibility, and at the end of the day, me speaking as somebody who just a few years ago didn't have a lot happening for him, that will change. It does change. Honestly, it does. Like, you just have to, in some senses put yourself out there, but in other senses, just wait. It might feel kind of crazy, like you are burning time that could be spent, you know, being with somebody, forging a relationship with somebody, but don't try and rush it. Just be happy the way you are. Lastly, I wanted to kind of talk about ways in which you might feel you're missing out by not being in a relationship, but obviously that could kind of take away from the core meaning of this video, what I want to get across. And one other thing that I want to get across, which is the core of relationships, that is boyfriend-girlfriend, boyfriend-boyfriend, girlfriend-girlfriend, and all sorts of stuff in between, is friendship. The foundation is friendship. For you, the asker of this question, and potentially for you, the viewer, what I want you to think about is friendships. Forging good, strong, solid friendships that are healthy, and recognizing the fact that if a relationship is meant to be, that it will grow on top of a friendship, and that you should look to sustaining and growing your friendships first, because they're most important of all. That's the end of the video. I hope you had a reasonably good time. Hope you thought some thoughts. And yeah, if you have any questions, please either DM me here on Tumblr, on Instagram, or wherever you want to. Yeah, that's the video. Just take care, okay? Oh, and I forgot to mention, we have another series coming out on this channel. Eventually, it's going to be called Can I Ask You Something? Where me and my girlfriend ask each other questions, putting our relationship in sort of weird, funny scenarios, and talking about what we would do or react to in those scenarios. For example, if I asked my girlfriend, you know, what if we switched bodies? You know, how would that affect our relationship and stuff like that? And what would happen? You know, that kind of stuff, like funny scenarios. Kind of like would you rather, except specific to our relationship and things like that. So look out for that. It could be fun, or not. I don't know. But yeah, again, that's the end of the video. Take care.